I was going to ask you to record it.
Okay. So who starts? Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon. Is there a good night? No, not good night. We are not going to sleep. Welcome to the 10th episode of I've Got Cancer, So What? And today should be our anniversary, really, because we just started when November, and we've already done 9 episodes, and today is the 10th one. I'm super excited. It's just an idea that just came to my head after my whole diagnosis, and now it's becoming an event. That's how I'm going to put it. Right from getting people to join, cancer warriors, survivors who on a normal day wouldn't want to talk about cancer, but just creating that space where everyone is open to share cancer. We call cancer by its name here. There's nothing like that this thing. It's a disease, and when we are open about it, we get through to why it happens and what we can do about it. So like I said, today is our 10th episode, and we are going back to the roots. That could mean anything to anybody, but going back to the roots means let's get back to the olden days. What happened? Why did they live longer? Why do we have so many people getting sick now? And then there's not even a cure. Nobody is saying something about a cure, but let's manage the disease. But if we can go back to the days when our fathers, forefathers lived 100 years, 80 years, 90. These days, if you live up to 50, 60, they'll be clapping for you. 70, they will tell you a life well spent. But we are thinking, how do we, despite cancer, despite whatever, how do we not even get cancer in the first place or other chronic disease? And this episode and the next one, next week, Thursday, we are dedicating it to preventing, healing, and surviving cancer and other chronic disease. So it's not about cancers today. It's about any chronic disease that you may think of. If you can get it, you can reverse it. And we have an amazing person in the house. In fact, when I talk with her, I just see myself, all right, there's a lot of work to be done with your eating, with your sleeping, with your whatever. But today we are going to hear from her. She's going to share so much. Like I don't even know where to start. And just like every day, I don't know how she appeared to my WhatsApp page, but then we got connected, we kept talking, and today this is where we are, and I'm so glad that she reached out. So I'm going to allow her introduce herself, and then she will tell you a little bit about her and why she's here and what life has made her go through, like just her own surviving, and then also the one she also talk about her husband who survived stage 4 cancer. This is really going to be an interesting episode, and I really hope that you sit back. We are still waiting for some people to join. Usually we give people 5 minutes to join. Yes, okay, they are joining now. All right, let's keep hoping that more people will join the call. I know today is public holidays in Nigeria. Lots of people are resting, but you can't be resting when your life is at stake. When your health is involved, you can't be resting. So you need to be up and about, thinking about your health. So today we are hoping that we learn not just about keeping ourselves healthy, but then how do we even get to a point where we live longer than our forefathers? Can we get to that point? Yes, we can if we try. All right, so we still have 2 minutes. Please share in the chat where you're joining us from. We're just taking a few minutes to wait for other people to join. Network issues in Nigeria as well, so we're hoping that more people will join the call. But just like my mentor, professor of business ethics, will say, in a class of business ethics, you have 100 people, you should be interested in one person. If you're able to change the life of one person, that person will touch another person, another person will touch another person. So we are here. We are hoping that even if it's just one person or two persons listening to us and gaining some of the things that we are saying, that person will go and spread the news. And right about now, I would introduce our guests. And then please share in the chats wherever you're joining us from, while I ask her to unmute and tell us a bit about herself. Mrs. Ogonna Hennes. How are you, ma'am?
Okay, I'm doing really good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and hello to everyone that is listening. I'm coming from Atlanta, Georgia, in America. Yeah, so I don't even know what is my story. I am a registered nurse by profession. Worked in so many hospitals. Didn't know anything about being sick. I was healthy and everything. At the age of 44, I got sick and didn't know what was happening. And yeah, we have to be open and honest. I had a breast implant, and the silicone in the breast implant, which doctors will not tell you, can cause you cancer. It can cause autoimmune disease, and that was what happened to me. All of a sudden, I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't walk. My lungs were failing. And doctors, I worked in teaching hospitals, so I had a lot of doctors as friends, and I would go to them and none of them could find out what was killing me. It was so bad that I had to be on oxygen 24 hours a day. It was so bad that I had to be on a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. If I go to a store, I have to take a wheelchair because my lungs failed. I couldn't walk from here to there. That was my life. I was dying every day. Medication, they were giving me all kinds of medication. It wasn't helping. My heart rate went up to 200 and something. Finally, the doctors called me and they told me that there was nothing, excuse me, there was nothing else they could do for me, that I had less than a year to live. I should go home and put my house in order and get ready to die. My friend doctors in the hospital, they said they have done everything. The doctor, one of the doctors that I went to see, he said that the only treatment they can give me is a chemotherapy. But he said he can't even do it because, excuse me, my lungs has failed so bad that the side effect of the chemotherapy was fibrosis in the lungs. And because I already had that damage, the fibrosis in the lungs, that if he gives me that chemotherapy, I'll be dead in 3 months. So he told me to just go home and enjoy whatever time I had left, which is less than a year. So I went home to die. Unfortunately, I went to stay with my daughter in Atlanta, Georgia. And, you know, we Christians, we said that all things work for good. There was a reason. My daughter at that time was in a chiropractic school. She was learning to be a chiropractor. And I'm a registered nurse. And you know, the conventional medicine don't believe in anything but themselves. So I didn't believe anything about integrative medicine. We thought it was quackery and all that stuff. So when I got home, my daughter said, "Mom, I can help you." She has some colleagues, and together they came together. They said they can help me. I'm like, "Go away. How can you help me?" Doctors, medical doctors, teaching hospital already told me to go home and die. And you, what do you know? Chiropractor, you want to help me? So I was not believing them. I didn't agree for them to do anything for me. And I kept, my health kept deteriorating. I kept getting sicker and sicker. I was dying still. So finally, when my heart rate got to 200 and something, normal heart rate is 60 to 80. But you know, when you have tachycardia, my own was, I was just dying. So finally, when I knew that the end was near, And the doctor, the medication they were giving me already, they told me it was not going to help me. So I called my daughter. I said, okay. I put my pride aside and I said, so tell me, how can you help me? And he said, Mommy, to start with, you have to change your diet. I'm like, what has diet to do with my illness? He said it has everything to do with it, that the way I was eating was wrong. And she brought her partner, who was into raw food and healthy eating and healthy living. And this guy told me what to do. I got mad. First thing they said, I have to cut down on meat. And boy, do I love my meat. Don't mess with my meat and fish. That was my life. So when they said that, I got mad. I'm like, you know what, you guys get out from here. Excuse me, it's a little cold here. So I'm like, you two, just get out from here. I don't want to hear from you. And I just told them, no. I almost cried. I'm like, you mean I have to stop eating meat? You know, people don't know that food is a form of addiction. Until you try to stop eating something, then you find out how strong it is to break that addiction. So for the fact that you told me I can't eat meat, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. In my heart, I was so wounded. I was so upset. I was so angry with her. How dare she tell me that I can't eat meat? Anyways, I continued to get sicker and sicker. She went to a program and bought me some supplements and stuff. I didn't take it. But finally, I called her back and her team. I said, help me. And that was when they sent me to, first of all, they told me I can't eat too much meat anymore, and I couldn't do it on myself. So I went to a program. And at that program, they taught me how to eat. I didn't like it. I was kicking and fussing. I was whining and, carrying on, because they made me eat food that I never ate before. But guess what? My body started to heal. I started to get better. I was like, oh my God, this thing is working. I didn't like the food, but my body was healing. So what we're gonna talk about today. So that was my story. I started healing. Then I started learning more about about how to stay healthy. You have a question? Okay. So I started learning how to stay healthy.
No, go ahead.
That meant I changed my diet. I started to detoxify. I changed my diet. I stopped eating too much meat, and I started eating whole food. Food the way God made it. Food that came out from the ground or from the tree. The first thing we have to do to get healthy is to return to our roots, as Flora has said. The food we are eating is killing us. How we are living today is killing us. And as I started to eat food the way God and nature made them, like food that is not processed, vegetables, plantain, real food, not food in a can, not food in a bottle. I tell people, if you can't pluck it, if you can't dig it up from the ground, then you shouldn't be eating it. So you ask yourself, is what I'm eating what I can plug out from the tree, the way God made it? Is it what I can dig up from the ground, the way God made it? So that was how I returning to nature, how God made food in the first place. Because what we are eating today is what is killing us. It's no more food like our great-grandfathers. I'll get to that. Then as I was getting better, my husband was diagnosed with cancer. Did you go help him? Stage 4 cancer. And he was given 30 days to live. 30 days, not 1 year. I had less than I had 6 months. He had 30 days. Well, thank God that I was already going through my healing journey. And then they told us, oh, if he does chemo and radiation and bone marrow transplant, he will do well. He will survive. So we agreed. Then I didn't know more. I didn't know like I know now. So we started chemo. And he was doing chemo. I started to do a research, and I found out that the kind of cancer he had a lymphoma. Not only lymphoma, but the lymphoma has now changed into what they called where you see, I told him to join up. It was changed into large B cells, and then it changed what they call Richter's transformation. We haven't seen more than 5 people who have survived Richter's transformation. So when I found out that even with chemo, radiation, everything, that he was going to die. So I took that information to the doctor, to the oncologist in Canada. And I looked at the oncologist. I said, he's doing chemo, he's doing all this, but look at the research. The research said that he's going to die. Anyways, I said, the doctor, is it true that my husband is going to die regardless of the chemo and radiation and bone marrow transplant? And the man said, no, I'm not going to answer that question. I said, why not? He said, your husband should ask that question. So I said, honey, ask him, is it true you're going to die? So he asked. And the doctor said, are you sure you want to know? I'm like, yes, we want to know. So he said, yes. If you do chemo, radiation, and all that, you have less than 6 months to live.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, so why put him through already? He had two or three rounds of chemo. And by then he lost all his hair. He was so weak, he couldn't even walk. So I said to the doctor, so if he's gonna die in 6 months, I mean, I would rather have him die in health than dying, like that. So we decided to do more than just chemo and radiation. Excuse me. I decided to help him do what I was doing. And that is, I call it the seven pillars of health, which we're gonna go back to. Flora, I want to talk about why we are getting sick these days. Why are we getting so sick? Yes, why are we getting sicker? Sorry, unfortunately, my throat is. Yes, allergy season. It's allergy season in America, in Atlanta. So, pollen. We don't have allergy in Nigeria, so you guys are good. Anyway, so the thing is, why are we getting so sick? I grew up. I was so lucky to grow up in Nigeria, in the village. Even though my father was a multi-millionaire. So when we lived in the village, in the 70s, I had everything. I grew up eating egg in the morning, sausage in the morning, bacon in the morning. But my cousins were poor, and they were eating real food. They were eating food as God intended for man to eat. Because the problem is some of this processed food, our body don't even recognize them. What do you call processed food? Let's get with that. Processed food are food that are inflammatory to the body. They are not the way God and nature intended it to be. So when you eat those food, like, food that not in the form, you didn't plug it, you didn't dig it, like bread, milk, like spaghetti, noodles, cakes, all those food that not the way, you can count them. It's in the store. If you go to the supermarket or in the market, you see them in boxes. In especially Nigerians, we're eating like white people. I tell my people, I said, we Nigerians in Nigeria, we are eating like the white people. Pizza. I came to Nigeria 4 years ago. They have pizza, they have shawarma, they have Indomie, noodles. They have all these things. We are eating like the white people, but we don't have white people's hospital. We don't have white people's infrastructures. We have to return to our roots. And what is our root? When I was growing up in Africa, right? So the people, my uncles, my aunties, they ate real food. They go to the back of the house and they grab their fresh vegetable, the greens, the bolongi, all these things. They get their yam from the barn, and they get a fermented food. I talk about fermented food a lot. We'll get to that. They get all these things and they cook it fresh. There was no refrigeration. There was no any of these things we have today, microwave and all that. They cook their food fresh and they ate it fresh. And then 2 days they make another meal. And let me tell you then, there was no bread. People in the village, they don't eat bread every day. They don't drink milk every day. In fact, they don't eat meat every day. Meat was only for rich people. They only use a little mangala, those dry fish, and they ate that. They use a lot of vegetable, lots and lots of vegetable with a little yam. And the opaka, Flora, did you get what opaka is in Yoruba land?
I couldn't get what it means in Yoruba, but maybe we have Yoruba people here. They can help us.
Oba. So they ate that. So do you know that people in those days, they walk to market every day, 4 times a week. You know, they have 4 markets in Igbo land. Every day they walked. They were getting sunshine. That's exercise. They were getting vitamin D from the sun. They were walking to the market. Today, nobody walks to anywhere. We all drive a motorcycle or keke or whatever to wherever we are going. Why are we sicker today? Because we are eating the food that is not meant for human beings to eat. We are not exercising. We are not having good relationships. You know, those things that in the olden days, they ate, they exercise by going to the market. You know, they get sunlight, they get all those things. They ate real food. That is returning to nature. So let's go back to eating food. I tell my clients, I have clients all over the world, and I told them, I said, in America, when you go to the supermarket, please buy only fresh food, grocery, you know, those things that are fresh, that has not been packaged. They have no label. Any food that has label, if you read the back, it has like 15 names that you can't pronounce, right? That's not real food. So going back to how God made food to be and eating from that, that's number one. So I don't know if you have any questions. So my husband, we started to eat, he started to juice. The most important thing that we can do to heal is to eat plant-dominated food. Diet, plant-dominated diet, mostly plant, mostly vegetables, and very few fruits. So we started, and most of the time you can't get enough by chewing your vegetables. So we have to either juice it or blend it, you know. So we started juicing for him. For somebody who has cancer and you want, again, let me say something here. What we are doing is not just for cancer, it's for any disease, any chronic disease. I tell people, I say, what reverse cancer? Can reverse high blood pressure, it can reverse diabetes, it can prevent stroke, it can prevent heart attack, it can help with any disease. So when we focus on cancer, we are also saying that what can reverse cancer? Cancer is like the most frightening disease now. You know, it can reverse any other diseases. So that's what changed when people started eating food that is not meant for human beings. And that's what's causing us to be so sick. And then we're going to talk about, what's it called? Stress, you know, sleeping. People should know that sleep is medicine. So Flora, I don't know how you want me to proceed. Are you there?
Okay, so yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, well done. Thank you so much for starting us up. I know that people are just like, okay, what's going to happen here today? We are going to change your mindset around what you eat, how you exercise, how you sleep. It's not going to be easy. Some of these things that we are saying today, you are going to be, what's wrong with these people? You don't want me to eat meat. You don't want me to do this one. But if you try, you know that all these things are luxury. We don't even need it. January 8th this year, I started no animal protein.
Good. So let me come in, Flora. I'm not saying, you know, if you're fighting a disease, if you're fighting cancer or a severe disease that the doctors are not giving you any hope, you have to take some drastic measures to heal yourself. Even if you can, if you cannot stop, like for me, the first few months I didn't eat meat. I went back to eating a little, but it has to be real meat. It has to be like wild caught meat. It has to be like wild caught fish, and very little, just like they did in the olden days. In the olden days, they didn't cook a whole chicken and eat it the same day. In fact, even though my father was rich, I saw my family, my other family members, chicken was only on Sunday. Even rice was only on Sunday. Everybody get excited because on Sunday, osikapa and pasoka. On Sunday, we eat rice. It doesn't mean that you can, let's eat like our forefathers. Our forefathers were not eating point and kill. They point at a fish. They eat the same thing at the same day. They ate little at a time. So if you cannot stop eating meat right now, just start eating little. If you used to buy meat of 200 naira, why don't you buy 5 naira or 50, or I don't know how much naira is now, but start little. And hey, here comes my husband. My husband has joined. Okay, so start little. Start by doing little, by changing little things at a time. Eat more vegetables, green vegetable. Take your little, very little yam and pack up a lot of vegetable. Even if you're gonna eat rice, take a little real rice, like Nigerian rice, the brown rice, and pack it up with lots of vegetable. You know, onions, they found that onions, garlic, ginger, all these things cabbage, broccoli, all these things, they found out that it can stop cancer cells from growing. So if you can just stop eating, try to get away from noodles. Take a green plantain and cut it up and put a little crayfish or whatever to eat, palm oil, a little palm oil. If you have cancer, please, no Maggi whatsoever. Maggi is toxic. Maggi causes cancer. So if you can start these little things, I ask my clients to please get green. I'll give you a testimony here. I have a family member who came back from Canada. He came back from Canada and the doctors gave him, no, I don't know what was going on with him, but he was very sick. And I told him, I said, he's in Nigeria. He was in Nigeria at the time. I said, okay, let me tell you what to do now. Since the white people have failed you, I said, go get green, ogo. I call it the Nigerian kale. And he brought his housemaid and said, teach the housemaid. I said, every morning, take that ogo, wash it very well with salt, rinse it out properly, and then put it in the blender, add some water and blend it, and start to drink it every day. He was drinking 1 liter, at least 8 cups every day. And before 3 months was over, he called me. He had diabetes for 30 years. He had high blood pressure for over 40 years. He had a sinus problem for years and years. And guess what? He was telling me that all those went away. And then he was having, he had an additional advantage because he said that he doesn't have erectile dysfunction anymore. I didn't know he had erectile dysfunction. He said, oh my gosh, I wake up, I feel like I'm an 18-year-old again. So that is what is killing us. How we are living our lives is causing us problems. So, Flo, do you want me to continue? Or you want me to?
Please go ahead. If you have any questions, please share in the chat. The network is terrible here in Nigeria, so I go off and go on. But then if you have any question, please share in the chat. I know that some of these things are sounding like Greek to us, but I'm happy that she is a living witness. And I think her husband just joined. So if what she's saying is wrong, as in like it's something that is not working, I don't think he will be here. So we'll get him to say hi to us later. But then if you have any question, because of time, please share in the chat. Later, we'll now ask people to unmute and speak. But for now, we'll allow her to continue. So we've talked about food. Let's go ahead, ma'am.
So I spend most of my time on food because that's it's said that that's the #1 thing that can heal a body. I spend, like when I have clients, I spent so much time teaching them how to eat. Okay, like you remember in the olden days they used African soap. I can make African soap because I watched my step grandmother make Nigerian soap, African. And today that soap is $5 a little bit in America here. And so that you guys know, in America here, I eat Nigerian food. I don't eat white people food. Though. I buy very expensive. I buy green plantain. I buy, let me tell you, they said that beans, people ask me, so what do we eat? First of all, let's cut down on inflammatory food, processed food that is not in the right nature, not God made them. Then you ask me, what do you eat? Eat food that is natural. There are so many food in Nigeria that we can eat. We have yam, cocoyam, plantain, beans. They found out that eating beans 3 times a day can stop cancer in its tracks. If you can eat beans 3 times a day, yeah, we use it for my. You can use that for breakfast, but when you make the my, don't remove the back, the back of the beans. Soak it overnight. Then when the morning comes, remove the water and blend it with the back, because that's where all the nutrition is. If you remove the back, then you are just eating carbohydrate. So the father of my children, I saw the mother live to be, we saw people live to be 100 years, 105 years old. They never, in Nigeria, growing up, to the doctor. They never went to the dentist, and they had most of their teeth in their mouth. Why is that? Because food, the science, again, let me say something here. What I'm teaching is science-backed, it's evidence-based. This is not story, this is not fluff. Not only did he heal me and reverse my husband's cancer, I've helped so many people around the world. And that's the same program that the former president of America, what's his name, used. President Clinton, he used to reverse his heart disease. So the same program, a whole president, if a whole American president can do what I'm telling you to do, are we bigger than him? Are we smarter than him? So this stuff works. Okay, so we're talking about returning to our roots. So let me go to cancer, because I know some of the people here are dealing with cancer. There has been 100%, not 2, not 20, 200% increase in cancer since 1 decade, since 10 years ago. 200%, science is saying. And they're telling us that 1 out of every 3 people now we have cancer. So this is serious. And they are telling us also, science is telling us also that 5 to 10% of cancer can be prevented and be reversed. No, I got it wrong. No, they're saying that 5 to 10% of cancers are caused by your genetics. But 90 to 95% of other cancers are not caused by genetics. They are caused by by what we eat, by how we live our lives every day. So, and they're saying now by 2030, by the year 2030, it will be 1 out of every 2 people will have cancer. So we need to do something about this. So, like I said, what we are saying that we heal cancer, we also heal other diseases. So if you have any other diseases, do the same thing we are talking about today, and you will see results just like my family member did. So let me start by, I have what is called the 7 pillars of health that I put together. What are the 7 pillars of health? These are things that will help us live longer and healthier. I say number one, food. Using food as your medicine. If the food you are eating is not your medicine, the father of medicine said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. Hippocrates said that. So is your food your medicine? Is what you are putting in your mouth? Ask yourself that question before you take that biscuit or cake or something fried that is not natural, before you eat it, ask yourself, will this thing help to heal me? Will it prevent me from dying suddenly? So food should be your medicine. Number two, stress. Stress is the number one killer. They call it number one killer. We are running without stopping. People are stressed out over, Nigeria is bad as it is. So we have to manage our stress. And we talk about that later. Exercise. Without exercising, like our great grandfathers, they walked to everywhere. They walked to market. That was exercise. Now we don't exercise anymore. We eat and we sit there. So we have to exercise. Sleep. How are you sleeping? What is the quality of your sleep? Sleep is when your body begins to heal. When you are sleeping, your body starts to heal. That's when the body will detoxify the brain, take out all the toxins in the brain. That's when the body will drop all the bile, clean out the liver. We need quality of sleep. If you don't sleep, it causes inflammation. And so inflammation is normal. Like when you cut your finger, right? Your finger, it hurts, it gets red, and it heals, right? Within few days. That's inflammatory process. Is good. But when it continues every day, when that kind of process is going on every day in your body, that is not good. That's not how God wants it. So when you don't sleep, when you are stressed out, your body is inflamed. Inflammation is like little fire all over your body. Imagine having tiny little fire burning in your body all day long. There's no way you can live long if you don't take care of that. So I'm talking about the 7 pillars of health. Food as medicine, managing your stress, exercise, sleep, prioritizing your sleep. And then I talk about detoxification. There's so much toxins everywhere. There's toxins in the water. There's toxins in the air. Look at Nigeria. Nobody's controlling all the keke, all the motorcycle, all the cars. They are spewing toxins in the air, and there's no control. We are breathing all these things in, and it is damaging our system. Not to mention the industries there. Nobody's monitoring where do they dump their toxic chemical? We don't know. Not to mention in Nigeria, there's no government that's overseeing importation. You can bring in any kind of food. I heard that Nigeria now is a dumping ground for fake food and fake stuff. Those are toxic chemicals. We have to get it out of our body. Again, self-care. How are you taking care of yourself? We are busy helping everybody, working so hard to help our family members, help that person, help that person. Who is helping you? How are you cooling down that stress in your body? How are you taking care? You gotta take time to take care of yourself. And we have things you can do, to take care of yourself. Here we go for massage, you go to dance, you go do different things that will help you calm down. You do breathing exercises, you do other stuff that can help you calm yourself down. You go and take a bubble bath, you just relax, take a book and read, and just let the weight of stress go out of you. So taking care of yourself. Then we talk about supplementation. We do advise people to get some supplements. The most important place to get supplements is from food. Number one, food. If you can eat 6, my advice to my clients is make sure you are getting at least 5 cups of vegetable and fruit every day. And you say, oh, well, it is too much. Or how can I get all that? Put it in the blender, blend it and drink it. You can add a little pineapple if you have it. A little guava. By the way, our guava, is that what you call it? Guava? Our guava, it is one of the most precious fruit in the planet. Guava, those ones that are red on the inside, powerful, or pink on the inside. Our avocado, we have some good foods in Nigeria. Papaya, pawpaw, but when you have cancer, we tell you to eat little, like 15% of only fruits, but 75% should be vegetable, 75%. So, God in heaven made our body to heal itself. God created everything. Just like when you cut your finger, you don't go and start doing anything. Your finger heals from inside out. We know that there's what we call the phagocyte, the lymphocyte. God will make those things to come to the area and heal your body. God made everything we need to heal our body. So if we give our body what it needs to heal, it will heal. And what does it need? Copious amount of fresh food, not packaged food. No Maggi, no milk, no butter, no margarine, no vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is toxic. No tin tomato. I have a cousin that sells tin tomato in Nigeria. So I asked my cousin, what is in the tin tomato? He couldn't tell me. It's all full of chemical. You don't need that. Take the regular tomato that God gave us and cook it. They found out that fresh tomato has what is called lycopene. And lycopene can kill cancer cells. But you have to cook it a long time for it to activate. So let your food be your medicine. I have a saying I have to share here. Food is the most powerful way to heal the body. It is the most powerful way to heal the body. But all food are not created equal. Please, don't eat those processed food. They will not heal your body. Do you know that food has information? God put information in vegetables that when you eat it, it will go and change your DNA. It will go and change your gene that is bad. It will take the gene that is dying, that is bad, like a cancer gene, like a cancer cell. If you keep eating those vegetables, drinking it every day, within 3 months, there was a research that was done that Dr. Dean Onish, everybody please look up, Google Dr. Dean Onish. Dr. Dean Onish is the doctor that helped former President Clinton heal from heart disease. Dean, D-E-A-N, Dr. Dean Onish. So this man, he took some people and gave them good food, vegetables, and beans, all these good things I'm talking about, legumes. Within 3 months, there 500 of their cells, of their genes changed. The ones that were turning into cancer reversed. People who had prostate cancer, their prostate almost reversed. So food is where it is. Everything else is secondary. If you're not feeding yourself that raw food, I want people to get raw food. Food in the natural state. Vegetable. We have cabbage there. We have ugu there. We have green there. We have bolondi there. If you can get 6 cups, I don't care how you get it. If you want to cook it a little bit just for like 5 minutes and eat it like that, that's good too. But the more raw it is, the more you can heal your body. The more you can drink it, better you will feel. Do you know that vegetable will downgrade cancer cells? It will downgrade inflammation. Inflammation is number 1 thing that causes cancer. Oxidative stress. It will even touch our parasympathetic, our nervous system. It will change our nervous system. So we're not all hyper all the time. Just vegetables. People are looking for healing all over the place. And do you know why I tell people just doing chemo and radiation is not enough? Because if chemo and radiation was enough, do you know how many people that die in America today and they get chemo and radiation? Okay, I love my doctors. I have 6 medical doctors in our family, but they were not taught this in school, unfortunately, and it's not their fault. They were not taught about using medicine. So you gotta go home and take care of yourself. Even when you're doing chemo and radiation, please eat this food. If you eat the right food, make the side effect of the chemo less painful. The side effect will be less, and the chemo will work even better. Because guys, do you know that some of the food that God made has the same ingredient that is in the chemo that we take? For example, Apinogenin is what is in celery. That thing is aromatase inhibitor. You know, they give people who have breast cancer aromatase inhibitor to suppress the breast cancer so it doesn't come back. The same product is in your celery. The same product is in your mushroom. Thank God I found out that they have mushrooms in Nigeria now. So what am I saying? Stop the processed food, the hamburger, the noodles, the cake, the butter, the magic, all those things. Because you know what it does? It suppresses your immune system. And guess what? Your immune system is everything. It's your first line of defense. If your immune system is weak, then cancer. Let me say something here. Everybody has cancer cell in their body. Every human being have pre-cancerous cell in their body. But your immune system, when it's strong, it will suppress the cancer cells. The cancer cell will not come up. But when your immune system is challenged, what will challenge your immune system? Immune system is the soldier, is the army in front that is protecting you. So when our immune system is challenged because of what we eat, because of stress, you know, stress. Some people will have cancer, like my mother. My father died suddenly. That is stress. Somebody getting a divorce, somebody losing their job, somebody family. All those things are stressful situations that can suppress your immune system. Like my husband, who is joined us today. He lost his house. First of all, he had a terrible divorce from the ex-wife. Then he lost his house. Fire went through and burnt his house. And after a few years, cancer came up. Stress can cause inflammation, and inflammation can cause cancer. So I don't know if I should continue.
Thank you so much.
I'm saying,
yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to discuss. And thank you so much. We still have next week episode to continue, but I just feel like we need to take some questions, and I allow your husband to say hello to us in a few minutes. But before we get to him, we'll ask Imabong. Imabong raised his hand. Imabong, if your hand is still up, please, can you unmute and ask your question? I also see Trust. Trust wants to ask question. Please unmute, please. Because of our time, you have 30 seconds for your question, and then she will get on to answer the question. Please, Imabong, unmute and ask your question. Thank you. Imabong, are you there? Okay. Okay.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Welcome.
Nice conversation. My name is Imabong. I am a breast cancer survivor here in Akwa Ibom State. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Please, I get so much disturbed, when it comes to cooking food for children. Personally, I can arrange my own food. But when it comes to cooking for children, it's very difficult to remove Maggi and things that can make them enjoy the meal. And not only that, what of other members of the family? How do we handle them? Because like in our tradition, yeah, they will say children eat sweet, they eat milk, they eat this to grow. How do we handle them when it comes to ensuring that they eat healthy meal? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
you want me to address that?
Please.
Growing up, I saw my cousins. They never drank milk. They never ate bacon and sausage, neither Maggi, and they grew up to be healthier than me. So make your meals. If you start cooking, I would like you to look for what they call Himalayan salt. It's very tasty. If you put it in your food, you won't even know that you don't have Maggi. If you can do Himalayan salt. So for children, let me tell you, they found out that our children are not exempted though. In fact, their case is worse though. They are telling us that when a child is born, that when they cut the umbilical cord, that each child had over 278 toxic chemicals that are known, 100 and something of them are known to cause cancer. This is when a child is born immediately, 5 minutes. In America, they did a test and they found out that these newborn babies already have over 100 and something cancer-causing chemicals in their blood. So if you keep feeding them these chemicals that we call food, you know, unfortunately, they are telling us, unfortunately, I don't even want to repeat that with my mouth, but they are telling us that our younger children are not going to live as long as we are living. It's a terrible situation. So, ma'am, discipline your children. Cook the food the way your grandmother, your great-grandmother cooked. And maybe you are young, you are too young, you don't know. Ask your grandmother or your mother how they ate. Cook the food the way they should eat it. They have to eat leftover in the morning. If you made beans is very good. Beans and yam, beans and sweet potato. Give it to them in the morning. You don't need Maggi to make beans and sweet potato taste good. Give it to them in the morning. Remove the Maggi because you want your children to be here 40 years from here. They don't need to drink milk every morning. If they want milk, find soy milk. Nigerians can make fresh soy milk and give them soy milk. Make moi and plantain in the morning and feed it to them. Make beans and rice, you know, things that we used to eat when people were younger. That's my answer to that.
Thank you so much. And I am going to say something about our children. You know, when you start something, they get used to it. So all the excuses we are giving ourselves, they need to eat sweet things, and is what we introduce to them. If we introduce to them the healthy eating right from when they were young, they will even get to a point where if you give them Maggi induced food, they will not eat because they are not used to those things. So I know it's difficult for me now. Even at my age, I stopped Maggi since January of this year, last year, and I use ogiri. I know she has talked about ogiri. She will still talk about ogiri.
Yes.
I use ogiri. That's the locust beans in all my meals. No Maggi, no meat. It will not kill you because you are trying to heal. So please introduce them. Start when they are young. Introduce this less Maggi and every other thing, and let them start now while they are still young. When they grow up, they will see there's no need to even have Maggi and all those spices in their meal. Okay, so we have Trust. Trust, please unmute and ask your question. Trust, if you are there, please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, Ma, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
Okay, Ma, thank you so much for bringing this awareness to us. My name is Trust Omorokovo. I'm from Delta, and I'm speaking from Nasarawa State. So I'll just go straight to the question. So there was this video I was watching online, and there's this doctor that was telling us that if you want to watch your weight, that is, if you're managing your weight, that you should try as much as possible to go on some fasting also. This is me talking on food as medicine. And so if we're supposed to be taking food as a medicine and all that, should we be taking those advices? Like, he's advising that people should, while trying to watch their weight, that people can go on fasting. You mustn't be eating every day. You can just decide to eat once a day also. That's my first question. And then the second question is on this food. Mama, you talked about our forefathers eating healthy, eating that like the likes of let's take example with tomatoes. Tomatoes now that is sold in the market, are they really healthy? Tomatoes, we have green leaf vegetables, are they really healthy? Because I have a neighbor that sells that, they who says she sells green here, and I know she plants them with a lot of fertilizers and all that. So I don't know, are those foods still really healthy?
Okay. Flo, you want me to answer you?
Yes, please go ahead.
Unfortunately, the first question, yeah, I haven't, you know, there's so much to unpack and we can't do that all. And that's why we have a program, by the way, we have a program that we help people, we hold their hand, that we teach you step by step. because if I have to say everything here, it will take us 3-4 days. Now, when it comes to fasting, yes, I was going to talk about it later. It's called intermittent fasting, right? Intermittent fasting is called intermittent. Intermittent. Like
Yes,
off
ma'am.
and on.
Yes.
Yeah, off and on. Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
intermittent fasting is beautiful. I teach it every time. We even use it for cancer. Like, first of all, it's good because the number one problem we have that causing cancer in Nigeria and one of the problems we have is called insulin resistant. It's in my notes here, but I can't even get to that. Insulin resistant is what, in fact, I think that 80% of Nigerians are insulin resistant right now. Okay, because we are eating too much food that is not healthy for us, and our body keep pumping insulin, and then the body doesn't know what to do with the insulin. And what happens? Our blood sugar rises. And when that happens, inflammation, remember that word, inflammation, little fires in your body, which leads to cancer. So insulin resistance is a horrible, I call it an epidemic. You see people with their stomach, people who are 40, 50, their stomach stop coming out because of insulin resistance. So when we do intermittent fasting, right, what it means is you don't eat within a certain window of time. I give it to my patients. I have my patients do that. And if you want to lose weight, because it helps to suppress insulin resistance, and it helps to boost up your immune system. Remember what I said about your immune system. Without your immune system, cancer cell that is sleeping will wake up and start going crazy. So yes, insulin resistance with the intermittent fasting, it helps boost your immune system. It helps suppress cancer cells. But the most important thing is to get the nutrients, the nourishing food. Fasting is not the first thing. The first thing is to heal your body, because after chemo and radiation, your body is very toxic. Your body is depleted of nutrients. So now you have to boost up your immune system, heal your body, and supply your body with nutrients before you even start the fasting. We also use fasting for chemo. Like when somebody's going to chemo, we have them fast a certain way so that the chemo will be more powerful. So when it comes to toxic food, unfortunately, we cannot escape it. GMO food, genetically modified food, is everywhere. My husband will tell you, I made a video with my husband. He was a farmer. My husband was a farmer for 33 years. And they use all kinds of chemicals. The food he grows, I can't even eat today. So what do you do in Nigeria? I hear they use all kinds of chemical now, but I don't think it's as bad as America though. So what do you do when you buy those vegetables? Get baking soda or vinegar. Take a tablespoon of baking soda and put it in a gallon of water and soak that vegetable in it. And then leave it there for 10 minutes and rinse it out. That will take away some of those chemicals from it. So that's what you do. I mean, we are in a toxic world. We can't run away. This is where we are. This is why our grandparents are living longer than us. But I will have you eat that vegetable than not eating it at all, than going to eat Indomie or going to eat noodles or going to eat shawarma. Yes, wash it and eat it. Okay, that's the answer to that question.
Okay,
Can I
thank
just
you.
talk a little, please? Can I just talk a little, please? Sorry, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the response. I'm so grateful. So, would that be? I mean, I'm talking about the fasting now. Can that be recommended for an ulcer patient? Yeah.
What's that?
The
Fasting, the fasting.
fasting. The fasting.
Oh, like, the first thing I said is to heal your body first. If you're an
Yes.
ulcer patient and you start doing what we are saying, your body will heal. Don't go first. Go and eat fermented food. If you're an ulcer patient, right, you need to build
Yes.
your top line. You need to build your immune system up so that your immune system can heal that ulcer, excuse me. I was telling Flora, the science told us that 70% or more of our immune system is in our stomach, in our gut lining. So if you go and heal your gut lining, then all these diseases will start to heal themselves, because your immune system will be strong and start to kill, bacteria that are causing the ulcer. So let's feed the body with food that it needs to heal before we start fasting. And let me tell you something. If you start eating the way I tell you, you will drop the weight. You don't even need anything. I have a client who came to me for fibromyalgia, which is some autoimmune disease or something with the hands, pain all over the body. She didn't tell me she was overweight. She did my program. She needed to lose so much weight. She had already done stomach stapling, where they tie your stomach so that you don't eat too much. She already did that and she gained more weight. But she did my program and she lost 80 pounds, just eating the right food. So that's the answer to that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So much to learn. But then I'm looking at our time. We are almost like it's 1 minute past 6. But now I'm going to invite her husband to say some things to me. In fact, he has his own experience, but he can also share some of the things that just to make us understand that these things are real. Mr. Ryan, are you there? Unmute yourself. You're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Ru, are you there?
Yes, he's there, but then he needs to unmute himself.
Unmute yourself.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Well, first of all,
Yeah,
I'd just like to thank everybody that's joined today. I think it's absolutely awesome that you've come seeking help for your body. And I'd just like to say I was a cancer patient. For 20 years now. And by the grace of God, I'm still alive because of Ogonna's program and her coaching, her helping me. And it really brings tears to my eyes because in 2010, I was only given 1 year to live at the most if I took 6 rounds of chemo and bone marrow transplant. And here I am today, and I'm enjoying life, and all the tumors are gone in my body. My body was 80% cancerous tumors. There was no hope for me. And my wife is tough. She's a strong woman. I don't always listen to her to tell the truth, but I know she has the right information for us, for eating, for food, diet, and for all these 7 points that she's listed, And I just encourage you all to join in and to take what she has, take it to heart, because it will heal your body. It'll give you long life. The Bible says, with long life will I satisfy you and show you your salvation. And I've seen lots of pastors that have passed away, people that have taken chemotherapy. I've been in clinics all across the US, Canada, and all these people that I've met, beautiful people, they're gone. They're not here today, but I'm here today. So that's all I want to say. I just want to thank everybody for joining, and I know God has your number. God has your number. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
One more thing. I'll drink to that. This is what I've drank. And this one here.
Tell us what you are drinking. By the way, my husband is in Canada and I'm in America, so we're not even in the same house.
When I was really sick and they told me I had 1 year to live, I drank 25,000 pounds juiced of these 2 things here in 1 year, and it reversed the symptoms in my body. So
that's carrot juice, right? What you have is carrot juice there.
That one's carrot juice and this one's greens, and I'm still drinking it today. and I just drink. So I'll
Guys, you
turn it
see,
back to you guys. You guys enjoy, have fun. Have fun. Healing your body can be fun. Eating the right foods can be fun. When you take away something that you like, that you crave, replace it with something good or something else, because then you find enjoyment. It's not all about taking away everything. It's about finding things you enjoy. So I'll turn it back to you guys. I'll mute out here. And thank you, Flora. I know you're an awesome person. You have a beautiful smile. It's great to see you. Thank you for letting me join this call today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. This is so emotional. Imagine a doctor giving you 1 year, and then you are here 20 years after still drinking your juice. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Thank you so much for sharing that, and for even sharing the examples. At least we are seeing your bottle of juice, like the carrot one and the veggie one. It's not magic. You have to do it. Okay, we have a question in the house. I don't know what to say because I'm speechless. But God bless you and keep you still alive for us and for everyone. Ifeoma, please, if you can unmute yourself, our time is fast spent. Please go ahead and ask your question quickly. Hello, Ifeoma, are you on the call? Ifeoma, please unmute yourself. If you have any question, please share in the chat. Our time is fast spent. Please share in the chat. And then we'll gather all of them together. They will still fit into some of the things we'll discuss next week. Mrs. Ogonna will be here next week still to share so many things, taking questions. This is 2 episodes in 1. Ifeoma, if you unmute yourself, please go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful episode, ma. May the Lord continue to strengthen you the more in Jesus' name. Please, my question is on surgery. If one should be doing all these things as you listed, and the person has not gone for surgery, and those things crash the tumor, because me, I'm a breast cancer, triple negative. Can he crash it?
can he, what does it mean, crash it?
Crush the tumor so she doesn't need to go for surgery.
Well, I'm not your doctor. Either way, okay, like what we do, we help people who are going through treatment, who are going through surgery, who are going through chemo and radiation, and people who have finished that they don't want that cancer to come back. So this is a continuous process. Yes, if you're going to for surgery, go for surgery. Do what you need to do. Maybe when they get in there, instead of seeing a big tumor, they will see a tiny little thing, which is, I'm never ever gonna tell anybody not to do treatment. Go for your treatment, but when you are doing that, remember that if you're doing what I told you, what we're sharing here, your healing will come faster. You recover quicker with less side effect. So I'm not gonna tell you, drink as much as you can. Blend ugu, blend green, blend a little guava, blend pineapple. Drink up to 8 cups a day if you can. Yes, I don't know how long before your surgery, but this is not magical. This is discipline. You have to discipline yourself and be ready to do the right thing.
Wow, this is discipline. Thank you so much, Ifeoma. This is discipline. Real discipline. No Maggi, no meat, taking juice, vegetable, fruits. Oh, Jesus.
When you start doing this, sometimes within about 3 weeks, your palate, God made a palate after about 3 weeks. Those things will not, like sometimes I say, let me go get a hamburger. And I taste it, I'm like, oh, it doesn't taste good anymore because your palate will change. The taste will change, your taste bud will change. And that food will not even taste good to you anymore.
Yes, I
Thank
agree
you
with
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much, Ifoma. Please speak with your doctor. If you need a surgery, go ahead and do your surgery, but add all these things that we are talking about. It helps you heal faster, as she said. Do we have any other question or comments in the chat? Okay, I don't think we have any other question. This has been an amazing experience. So I'm going to ask you something around, you mentioned lots of fermented food. And I know we didn't have time to get deeper. If you can share maybe 3 or 4 of those fermented foods that we need to add to our diet. Yesterday when we were talking, you made something up. You talked about what do you call it now? Good there's something you mentioned about organisms. I can't even remember, but you said we need the good one to remove the bad one from our system, and that's why we need fermented food. Please, if you can talk briefly around the fermented food, and then we'll use it to close out for the night. Oh, mind. I think she had a network issue. She's not here. Okay, let's give her some time. If you still have question, please share in the chat. She will join us back. I think her network. Grace, you have a question. You want to share in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask. I saw Metron here. Metron can also help with some questions. Grace, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question. I saw your hand raised. Metron, are you still here? I think she's... Unmute yourself. You're on mute. Please. Mr. Ogonna, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay.
So what do I do with this one?
Okay, we can hear you.
Just look okay. Okay. So is this one still working? Anyway, do we have any questions?
I wanted you to talk briefly about the fermented food that we discussed yesterday. You mentioned something about the good ones that we need from the ogiri and every one of them. If you will talk briefly about the fermented food, and then we can use it to close out. Some of the fermented food that we need to bring into the system, add to our food. And I know it's yesterday you talked about ogiri. Even your husband will run away when you are cooking with the ogiri, but you have to cook it.
Yeah. Like I said before, to heal cancer or to heal any disease, we have to first of all heal our microbiome, heal our gut lining, heal our gut. And to do that, one of the things we have to do, already we are feeding it vegetables, so we're giving it prebiotics. That the stomach has billions of good bacteria that's, as I said before, about 70% of our immune system is in our gut. And remember, immune system is the reason why you heal from cancer. Immune system is the reason why you heal from high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever. It's your immune system. So if your immune system is destroyed because of stress, toxic chemical, bad food, all those things, then it's difficult to heal, no matter who you are. So one of the things we do to heal the immune system is to give it fermented food. And fermented food, here, you guys are blessed in Nigeria. You have opaka. I don't know what is locust bean, right? Locust bean, that the more you ferment food, fermentation means leaving the food to rotten a little bit. When it rottens, it creates its own good bacteria. And when you eat that good bacteria into your stomach, it goes and helps your own good bacteria get more and more, like more soldiers to fight your battle. So where can we get fermented food from? You get it from, in America, kimchi. We get it from sauerkraut. And I teach people how to make sauerkraut. We get it from ogiri. I don't know what it's called in any place. Locust bean. They use locust bean and they cook it. I see my great grand aunties make it. They cook it and they tie it in leaves and leave it to rotten. Then you take a little bit and put in your food. You are giving yourself millions and millions of good bacteria. So obaka, owa, they're all fermented food that I know in Nigeria that can help us build up the army we need to heal our body. So opaka, owa, then I teach people, even if you Google how to make sauerkraut, you see it on Google. You take cabbage, that is the cheapest way. Again, you take cabbage, you cut cabbage, you put it in that kind of bottle that my husband was holding. You add water and salt. I can't give it all because it takes time to give all this information. But if you Google it, then you put it in a dark place. And then after 7 days, it has fermented. That one, very powerful. Please don't use too much. Use only 1 teaspoon in your food because it's very powerful. If you use too much, it can give you diarrhea and you start to detoxify too fast. So that's what fermented food will help you do. It will boost up your immune system so that you can heal faster and quicker.
Okay, thank you so much. You've heard it. Fermented food, we have ogiri, locust beans everywhere. We have the local one, the Igbo one that we tie, and then there is this Yoruba one in Lagos, the locust beans that you can just use in your food. Please buy them. Those things are not even expensive. Opaka, I don't know what they call opaka in Yoruba.
Locust bean is what I think. Locust bean. I don't know what's it called in Yoruba. And even dawa dawa. Buy dawa dawa. Dawa dawa.
Dawa is another kind of ogiri. Please, all those things, we have them. And they are not expensive. Please, let's get all those things add to our food. If you use ogiri, use locust beans. You don't need Maggi. These are natural spices. Iru. Okay,
Iru in Yoruba.
Yes, Iru in Yoruba. So all these things, we get them everywhere. Put them in your food. Then there is no need for Maggi and spices. You can eat well and live a healthy life. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Flora, let me say this. Eat a lot of onions. Do we have onions in Nigeria? When I cook any meal, I put 4 or 5 onions. I cut it. Garlic. Put a lot of that there, because they have found out that these things kill cancer cells. A lot of garlic, a lot of ginger, anything, especially garlic and garlic and onions. Lots of it. We have it. I pay for one owa. I pay $10 for one here, while you guys can get it for maybe 5,000-10,000 naira there. $10 for one. And it's not enough, and it's not fermented enough.
Yes. And just when you talked about onions, and I remember what I hope my sister is even on this call. Yesterday, after cooking my food, I shared on our WhatsApp group, and she was like, "Sister, did you cook only onions?" Like she was just screaming, "Is it only onions that's in yours too?" I said, I need a lot of onions. So sometimes even in Nigeria, we say we don't like onions. It's disturbing my eyes. If I peel it, things that are difficult, like even make you cry or stress you to even cut them, those are the things that help you to heal. So you take lots of onions, lots of garlic. What about ginger? You never mentioned ginger.
Ginger is good. Ginger is good.
Okay.
Ginger is good for inflammation, but it's not because like what I told you, I go by what science is showing us. What science has shown us is garlic and ginger and mushrooms. I hear that they have mushrooms in Nigeria. Yeah. So mushrooms, especially if you have breast cancer, celery, all those things are good for breast cancer. Mushroom, celery, everything, vegetable, eat them, drink. Especially we want you to drink green vegetable, because you can't eat enough with your mouth. You have to put it in the blender instead of blending beans all the time, which is beans is very good. Try to get beans twice a day in your body. But my fear is the beans in Nigeria. They're putting okerium or whatever, something to kill the bugs in it. I don't know, but at least it's better than nothing, right? It's better than nothing. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We are going to take a final question now. This is coming from Grace. Grace, if you can unmute and speak, please go ahead and speak. Ask your question. We need to call it a night. Yes, it's a night, not a day.
Good evening, blessed people. I've benefited a lot. Good evening. Let me just go straight to my question. Turmeric, ma. Is it good?
Yeah. You see, yeah. Go ahead. Finish your question.
Okay. Then these onions, most times my children don't. They see it sliced like that. So I blend a lot. Like when I'm cooking beans, 5, and then pour in the beans. I don't know if it's still okay.
Yeah, the question is the onions blended and cooked? Is it okay?
Yes.
That was our question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it is okay, and it's okay. Any way you can get it, get it. Okay. The cooked onion is not a problem. You cook it, garlic, all that. If you can, sometimes if you can do some raw ones, like in your salad, you can cut some raw onions and raw garlic and put it in your salad. That's okay. I didn't mention spices. Please use loads of curry, turmeric. They're all good. I have a note on spices. I didn't get to it. Let me see. All of that is good for you. A lot of curry, a lot of spices. Spice up your food. They found out that seasoning, cinnamon, turmeric, which comes from cumin, they all have been found to reduce colon cancer by 40%. 40%. So use loads of seasoning, curry, turmeric, curcumin, cinnamon, whatever you can do, and also nuts. Eat lots of nuts. I heard about tiger nuts. I don't know what that means in Nigeria. Any good nut. What is the one we used to crack? I don't remember.
Tiger nut is akiasa.
Okay. I don't know what, but there's opa. There's one called opa we used to eat.
Opa.
Yeah. Nuts
Yes,
are very powerful. If we can find walnuts will help.
Walnuts.
Yeah, walnuts. If you can find walnuts, those things are known to stop cancer cells, especially with that insulin resistance. Don't eat too much yam and rice and bread, anything that will make your insulin spike up. Anything. The people say, why can't I eat meat? Because meat has what is called IGF-1. Insulin growth factor 1, meat, fish, all this animal protein, and that has been known to make cancer grow, to make diabetes worse, to make high blood pressure worse. That's why we tell people, if you want to eat meat, try to find meat that has been grown naturally, like a chicken that are running around, not the one that they fatted up with chemical. Wild fish, and if you're gonna eat it, only eat 2 ounces. 2 ounces is like half of my hand here, a little thing like this, a week, not a day, a week. Just like our grandfathers ate. They don't eat meat every day. They don't eat fish every day. That's it. Is there any question?
All right. Thank you so much. I think that's all the questions that we have. And then we are 24 minutes away from 6. And this is really, I don't know how to say. Thank you so much for the knowledge, for sharing with us. We are coming back next week. Please, if you have all the questions, bring your family members. Let them come and hear. Some of them asking you questions about onions. Bring your children. Let them come and hear why they shouldn't be eating too much meat and everything. And when they complain, tell them that you are trying to save their lives. Ask family members. This is not all about cancer. What we do here is living healthy. It doesn't have anything to do with cancer people. There are lots of cancer survivors out there, and every other day, people who are not diagnosed with cancer, they are falling dead. Like before you know it, they are dead. Because sometimes they've not even been diagnosed of anything, and they say, I'm healthy, I'm living well. Before you know it, they are gone. But those of us who had been diagnosed with cancer, we are consciously, intentionally thinking about our life every day, and it makes us live healthy. Imagine Mr. Ryan here saying that he's been on this journey 20 years after. Can you imagine that? Especially when doctor says to you that you have 6 months to live. Anyway, maybe we need to have a section with doctors to tell them we found another way to live better. Thank you everyone for joining. It has been an amazing day. Please join us next week, 5 p.m. We are going to share the link again with you. You can go on our YouTube channel if you missed any of this today's episode and other episodes we've had. Like I said, today is our 10th episode, is an anniversary episode. We have other episodes on our link YouTube channel. Please go there and listen, go and watch. There are lots of them from doctors and everybody telling us how to live a healthy life. Till we come your way next week, please keep living healthy. Think about yourself, sleep. I'm telling myself about the sleep part too. Sleep, rest, and know that God is in control with your health. Thank you, everyone, and have a blessed evening.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank everybody. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Shifting.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for staying.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. God bless.